Okay. Uh, Professor S.P. Singh, Emeritus Professor of UGC, and all the dear participants, a very good morning to you all. I, Professor Preeti Mahajan, on behalf of the Department of Library Information Science, Punjab University, Chandigarh, and on my own behalf, welcome you all in the second webinar in the new series of the webinars entitled PU DLIS webinar series. The current series are being organized to reach out to LIS students, research scholars, and the professional colleagues to enhance their professional knowledge and update them in the field. I now take this opportunity to introduce the speaker of the webinar today. We have amongst us Professor Shashi Prabha Singh, retired as a professor from the Department of Library Information Science, University of Delhi. She is an emeritus professor of UGC now. Prior to this, she has also worked in the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting as well as Delhi University Library System. She has a teaching experience of almost 30 years at Department of Library Information Science, Delhi University. During her services in the department, she headed the department for 2 tenures and contributed immensely for the welfare of the students particularly. Her areas of interest include reference sources and services, library management, knowledge organization classification, and research management. She has guided 15 PhD and 15 MPhil researchers. She has authored 5 books and published more than 70 research articles, including 11 in the international journals. She is a member of many professional bodies. She is on the editorial board of renowned national and international journals, namely the Electronic Library of Emerald, the ASLIP Proceedings, DECIDOC Journal of Library Information Technology, Journal of Knowledge Communication and Management, Journal of Library and Information Science. She is also a member of various important academic, professional, and administrative bodies of UGC, SSDC, and various universities. Besides this, she holds honorary membership of Research Board of Advisors of the American Biographical Institute, North Carolina. Her biography has been included in many national and international biographical sources, and she has also been awarded the Satkal Best Women Librarian Award. Friends, as we all know that in the current information society, a lot of information is being produced. In fact, we often hear the term information overload, but we are not able to distinguish between what is the right information or what is the misinformation, disinformation, fake news, etc. It is in this context that Professor Singh was requested to deliver a talk in this concept, and today she'll be deliberating on misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, fake news. Without taking much time, I now hand over the proceedings to Professor Singh, please. Professor S.P. Singh.
Thank you, Professor Preeti. Very good morning to you, your organizing team, the honorable audience, and everyone who's here is present from anywhere. Thank you so much for inviting me for this webinar. And I would like to express my very sincere thanks to the Punjab University also for giving me this opportunity again. I really feel very happy because nowadays we are missing our classes. I am missing my classes. I had a great passion for teaching and I am missing my classes. And you are providing me such opportunity. So thank you very much. My today's topic, as you had already mentioned, I would just open my, I would like to just have, I'll take little time. So the topic is misinformation. I just wanted to talk about the different varieties of information which are coming in the say.
Professor Singh,
I'll have to.
आपका वो screen share नहीं हुआ है अभी.
Okay, let me see how to share it. Is it?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible now.
Just a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Just. Oh, just a minute. I'll just open it again.
No problem, ma'am. Please.
You know, you people are very conversant and we are not.
Don't worry, ma'am. You are also.
You've already done it. It's already there.
Are you able to see now?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So this is my topic of today's talk. In fact, I have two reasons to select this topic. One is that I taught in the Department of Library Science, University of Delhi for almost for 15 years, the paper relating to the information sources and services. And in MLISC also, I was given similar kind of paper in special area. So this area has been very close to my heart. But surprisingly, during my teaching tenure, I consulted so many books for my teaching purpose, and information was given in almost everywhere, but nothing like misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation was available. So I had no idea, frankly speaking, that these terms, I know literally what is what. But the kind of difference, minute difference is there among these terminology was not known to me. So it made me curious. Moreover, I attended a webinar which was also talked something like about misinformation and disinformation. But even that was, at least I was not able to understand what is the basic difference. I raised that question also with the panelists that how he mentioned that misinformation this is a intentionally given wrong information, unintentionally given wrong information, sometime intentional also. And when he described about disinformation, again he said that disinformation is intentionally, deliberately given a wrong information. Then I raised the question, if both are having intentional dissemination of an information, then what is the difference between misinformation and disinformation? But the answer was given by the panelists, but I was not satisfied. So I thought, let me myself swim into the deep water and I must know what is what. That made me very curious, and that was one reason. Another reason is that I belong to a professional community which is particularly relating with the dissemination of information only. Knowledge, they are called knowledge navigator, knowledge disseminator, or information disseminator. So that was another reason I thought that my little efforts, if my community can have little idea with what is what and how they are different from each other, probably that will be helpful in giving a better idea while disseminating helping their user or disseminating any information. So keeping in mind my own community, I thought of let me work on this area, and I worked on this thing. And I did try my level best. Let me see how far I'm able to extend this to you. Now let me begin with what is information. I know all know what is information. But just to revise, information is something which is not known to us, which creates an element of surprise. Somebody gives me information which I was not knowing, immediate reaction comes up, oh, I never knew about it. This is so good. So it helps to remove the ignorance, and it brings us, say, confidence also. When we know something and we have to pass on that information somewhere, that adds to our confidence. But remember one thing, one information is for person A, may not be for person B. Means a piece of information is not information for everybody. Once you know about it, that no more remains an information, that becomes a fact for you. So if a well-informed person in the society is always having a better recognition. They are being treated with the greater respect. So this means information means to facts. It is a fact about something, maybe a person, his qualification, his date of birth, his publications, place, and things, etc. With internet and social media, information is coming in an abundant, quantity. Maximum people are getting information through these media. But due to this exponential growth, Finding the correct information on website has become a nightmare. No doubt about it. We want to find one particular information, but when we access internet with one terminology, whatever other things are related with that terminology, they also jump onto that. So it becomes very difficult to say filter out immediately relevant information. So present exponential growth is resulting into production of misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, etc. Because internet and social media, they are the great vehicle for production and dissemination of variety of information, which were nowadays. In fact, these terms were not very much popular. Of course, misinformation, it is common term. And we were taking it a literal meaning. Similarly, disinformation also, but they are, in real sense, they are slightly different. These are the forms which I am going to take up. Misinformation, they are all emerging from information. So misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, infodemic, epidemic, pandemic, and fake news. In fact, I thought let me cover maybe a liner only about infodemic, epidemic, or pandemic, but I wanted to cover them because they are all related with the information, which we are, say, on media every day, infodemic about. Now, today, say, our Prime Minister is going to Ayodhya. A lot of information is there about that. Different medias, different people, different panels are being held, how Ayodhya meeting will be held. That is all infodemic, excessive information. So let us talk first about misinformation. This is a false information, wrong, misleading, distorted information. This is not intentionally distorted. It is not intentionally misleading, but without any intention to deceive or harm anybody, such information is being passed on. Dissemination of misinformation is as old as civilization. If you look at, say, in rural areas, from any information, say small information that used to, say, spread from one village to another village like a fire, they had better social communication without internet. So misinformation, it is not a new concept. But social media have made its production and dissemination much easier and faster. Right now, you can pass on information to millions of people on WhatsApp. So it has, say, made it so faster, so easier that anybody sitting anywhere can get the information within a fraction of a second. Capuro has given a nice definition. Misinformation means lies, propaganda, misrepresentation, gossip, delusion, and distortion. Keshwar said there's misinformation. He talked in the context of, in fact, say, a little different than what Kapura has said, can be incomplete. It can be outdated. It can be confused and not usually accepted as it is product of multiple channel of interpretation. Such information usually pass from one person to another person who are not, say, authority or who are not deeply involved, like we involve in authorship or information. We would like to know what is the exact source, but such information moves from one hand to another hand. So the meaning of the information also gets changes. Disseminator of misinformation, unknowingly, this is a very important term, unknowingly disseminate, believing that he is giving a correct information. He is disseminating information, but unknowingly he is disseminating that information. It creates, for example, I am on the road, I am driving my car, and I have to go to Greater Kailash. That area is not well known to me. Just there is a divider. I am in a dilemma. Should I go to right? Should I go to left? What I will do? I'll ask somebody. So if I ask a passerby and he gives me an information, ma'am, you go to this left-hand side, this will lead to your GK. And because I do not know, so I believe and I take a turn to left-hand side and I move ahead. And after reaching some distance, I realize, oh, this is not a right way. This is a wrong way. It is leading to Nizamuddin or some other area. That's not my route. The person who gave me that information, he did not try to mislead me. He did not intentionally tried to give me a wrong information. He thought he knows and he has given me this information. So that is misinformation. Means somebody unknowingly assuming that he's given a correct information is given to you. Maybe say you want to ask me anything about Delhi University, for example, you ask me what is the MPhil criteria. Somebody asks, and the person gives that this is through say entrance test, and you'll have to appear for the interview also, and you should have 70% marks, blah blah blah. The person is giving you that information, assuming that he's giving you correct information because he came to know that information from somebody else who gave him that information. He told 60%, but he made it 70%, by the way. So misinformation, unintentionally given a wrong information. It is not always intentional attempt to convince the audience. हमेशा ये नहीं होगा कि हम उसको information बता रहे हैं, but बताने का तरीका ऐसा हो जाएगा से कि सामने वाला सोचेगा, oh, she is a man from Delhi University, so she must be giving correct information. But I don't know anything about Ambedkar University. I may give a unintentionally wrong information. That becomes your misinformation. It is presented without any proof. That is all the more important. Verification. So, and it is very hard to find actual source. कहाँ से emerge हुआ, किसने शुरू किया है? अफवाहें जब फैलती हैं तो सिलसिला यही होता है, कहाँ से emerge हुआ है? Nobody knows. According to some authors, actually the common word which has been used in the definition is unintentional. But few authors have mentioned that this can be intentional also. I raised the same question with the presenter when I told you initially that I attended a webinar. I asked the same question. He said misinformation can be intentional, it can be unintentional. And then he proceeded on to the disinformation. He said it is intentional. Then I asked that if both are intentional, then what is the difference between these two? He did try his level best, but I mean, probably my understanding is not that good. I wasn't able to understand. And no explanation in the sources is available from where I have received these terms, intentional, unintentional. But then I was just thinking, I kept on thinking how it can be, say, unknowingly intentional information, how it can be intentional. So what made me feel that it can be when we are using some information, some wrong information with a positive intent. For example, a lady is lying in the hospital with a serious disease. And by the way, I'm giving you a very crude example. By the way, son is also suffering with some serious disease. Lady already knows that my son has some problem. And while she's in the hospital, she gets worried about his son and she inquires from her daughter, how is my son? And now the daughter, if she gives a real picture, mother is going to get affected, her health may affected severely. So she says that he is recovering, although he is not. He is recovering. And this gives little solace to mother because mother is always a mother. He would like to listen good things about the say children. So this was a intentionally given wrong information, misinformation. So if somebody is giving with positive intent, then that may be the context which the authorities have used. But I could not find any explanation, so I think that should be done. This is a bar diagram which I have got from internet. Reference has been given at the bottom. A study on misinformation was done by somebody, and where weekly data about the cases of COVID was taken. And the heading says it is as it is. Increase in the number of misinformation. This is about the cases, weekly information. 200 cases or 20 cases or 100 cases, like nothing has been given ki 100 hai ki 1000 hai ye. So this shows ups and downs, but although it was increasing. Somewhere maybe a little downfall, but by and large, it was on increased side. So this was the graph for misinformation. Now let us talk about disinformation. Disinformation is also not a new term, but this is more and more in use in literature, in media nowadays. That's why the word is of English, in English is of Russian origin. Desiformatia, coined in 1949, and Oxford English Dictionary described it as deliberately false information. The basic difference there and here is that was not deliberate, it was unintentional, but here it is intentional. This is also wrong information, that was also wrong information, but that was unintentional primarily, and this is basically, this is intentional information. Clegg has said that is intentionally mistaken information with the purpose of harming. This is another reason. There, in case of misinformation, the purpose was helping, saving the mother who was worried about the son. But here the purpose is harming the receiver to seduce into wrongdoing so that the person can get into something wrong. Fezer described it as misinformation with an attitude. With an attitude, the person has an attitude to give a misinformation, and he said that is he equated it to the deliberate lying. Knowingly he is telling a lie. There, in case of misinformation, unknowingly it was done due to questionable validity and reliability. That in fact this has been used in the context of web environment. It says web environment, anybody can write, anybody can create a blog, anybody can create a website. Wikipedia, you all know that you can edit it, you can delete an information, you can add on some information. That's why he called it at a authorless environment, a good word which has been used here, authorless environment. Next is internet and social media. They have been regarded to be the excellent vehicle for spreading the disinformation because they are the richer sources and very fast sources of spreading the information, but they are questionable. There is no contact address in some such sources, no actual reference, no date has been given when it was updated, nothing like that information is given, which is available in print sources. In politics, it is knowingly delivered by opponents to misdirect audience for political gains. You know, during the phase of election, Rafale was an important issue which was used by opposition parties to derail the momentum which was, present government was getting at that time. They wanted that the public opinion must be changed in their favor, so they did talk about Rafale deal. Government schemes, present government has extended so many schemes. With regard to those schemes also, still people are criticizing that gas is not available. They are saying that so many families have received the gas connections, but they have not got it. So the purpose is here is to create their own lobby for getting support from them, political support from them. This is another term which is coming in literature, malinformation. This is different than both. In both the cases, misinformation, disinformation, that was a wrong information, but here the information is true. Information is factual. It is a correct information. But here it is also used to harm, like disinformation, the purpose is to harm. Such information is disseminated with a malicious purpose and intention. Purpose is to malign, to create some kind of harm to the other party. UNESCO has given a very nice definition. Information that is based on reality, but used to inflict harm, maybe on a person, organization, or a country. Such information is disseminated with bad intention by leaking personal emails, confidential papers, and videos. You will be able to remember that, say, Kangana Ranaut and that fellow, that hero, what was his name? Who was, Hrithik Roshan. They had some friendship, and their emails, personal emails, they were leaked on WhatsApp groups and other social media. Their confidential mails were spreaded onto the social media just to malign their image. And similar kind of things do happen about eminent personalities. Now, Sushant case is going on. Bihar government and Bihar state police and Maharashtra state police, they are conflicting to each other. And they are say leaking their confidential information to make a stronger case of one party. So malinformation means this is a true information, but this is being used to malign the other person so as to get in their favor. It is intentionally used to harm or harass a person or party or community, culture or religion to create hate. Now, say Ayodhya issue is getting a great momentum, great support, even from opposition party. Yesterday there was a news that Kamal Nath has donated some Chandi ka eat to be placed in the base of Ayodhya Mandir, base, नींव में रखने के लिए. So opposition parties are also supporting, but there are still some people who are trying to create, divide between different two communities, and still they are opposing this move because they still want to claim that this was not Ayodhya, this is not related to Hindu Ram, but it is there is a dispute. This is a disputed land, whereas Supreme Court has said, no, this is not a disputed land. They had given their verdict and there is no more dispute now. But still, some people are creating by giving hate speeches. No, this is we had our masjid over there. This is just a pictorial presentation, bring out that difference. False information disseminated unknowingly. Unknowingly, this is important, without any intent to harm. Disinformation, this is deliberate and intended to harm. Malinformation, true information intended to harm, and it includes leaks, personal information leakage or video, harassment, hate speeches, which are really creating a divide. When some people are deeply involved in this kind of say activity, they try to create a divider between communities. Infodemic, this is another term which was coined in 2003 on account of excessive, infodemic means availability of excessive information on a particular area. It was generated, this term was coined in, when SARS came as an outbreak, severe acute respiratory syndrome in 2003, and a lot of information was coming onto that. So at that time, this term was coined. This is an overload on information like we are having nowadays on COVID. That is information overload, or even for Sushant Rajput, overload on information. Recently, in February 2020, this term was used for the first time by WHO. In this context, COVID के context में पहली बार WHO ने use किया था कि this is an infodemic. It generates excessive amount of information on a problem, creating a lot of confusion and making it more difficult to find a solution. Because when there is more information, that creates a lot of confusion also. Nowadays, we are talking about different people in Ayurveda or even homeopathy or say naturopathy, allopathy, they are talking about the vaccine because a lot of information is being generated, a lot of confusion is being created. So it becomes very difficult to find out a solution when we have excessive information. There are two more terms. I have given one-liner about that. Epidemic, it is used in limited sense, but particularly for the spread of a disease. Infodemic for spread of excessive news. Epidemic for spread of a disease in a particular community, population, or region. They say when it is limited to a particular region or community population, it is called epidemic. But when it is having wider implication, when it is spread all over the world or in a larger, more than one country, then this is called pandemic. Say, for us, this COVID is a pandemic. COVID is a pandemic. Now I feel we should talk about, how should we decide about what is the authentic information? Although during our teaching, I used to talk about reference sources evaluation by giving 7-8 criteria like authority, scope, arrangement, treatment, format, and say revision policy, special feature. But for web sources, Tagza and Booker, they had given just 5 points. And these 5 points I have used in the context of, has been used by the Tarja and Booker for bringing a clear-cut distinction between these three: information, misinformation, and disinformation. Information needs no explanation because we already know about it. Misinformation, it is again unintentionally disseminated on web. Here they are talking about the web environment. On web without no clarity about authorship, who is the author. Disinformation created deliberately. It is knowingly created. Real author of the web source is unknown. No contact address is available. Accuracy, information, because it is false, forwarded assuming to be true, doesn't contain any evidence of authorship. We even do not know from where it has started. So it can't be checked or it can't be verified who was the originator of this information. Nobody knows. This is deliberate, manipulated, does not contain accurate, verifiable data. Information, because this is manipulated. Naturally, it will not contain. The who makes this information, he knows that I am making a wrong information, but the information about verification won't be available. Objectivity, authentic. Actually, that's why, print sources or say web sources, they are volatile in nature. They are dynamic in nature. Today, the information is available on web, but tomorrow, nothing may be available on the web. But that is the beauty had been for the print sources. That's why our generation still believes that print sources are the best sources. Everything is verifiable, everything is available from years to year, ages to ages. But the web sources being volatile, one thing is available today, tomorrow may not be. So here, objectivity is not true. It contains author's personal. This is important here. Here, whatever one is disseminating, it is one's personal opinion or view, unintentional, for a particular group or audience. And this information, this is not at all factual. It is created to mislead the people. And this may be in the sometimes in the personal interest also. I would like to give you a small, say, incidents about, so as to make this thing still more clear. I had, say, there were two colleagues. They were competing for a higher position. And say one was very good and he was a very knowledgeable and most competent person, but other person never wanted him to achieve that position. Before any interview start, we get an idea कि ये अब होने वाले हैं, next week होने वाले हैं by such and such date. So both the person, they were having fairly good idea that within next 10 days the interviews are going to be held. So the person who was little say negative mindset वाला person, उसने क्या किया, उसका इंटरव्यू लेटर गायब कर दिया. He kept a track on कब इंटरव्यू लेटर इश्यूज हो रहे हैं, कब किस डेट को हो रहे हैं, कहाँ से होंगे, कैसे होंगे. Kept a track and the letter was say misplaced by him. Then another person, I told you already, he was much more sharper. He had a inclination. this interviews तो होने वाले थे, अभी तक मुझे चिट्ठी क्यों नहीं आई है. Before he could try to inquire, the another person said the interviews have been cancelled. Interview हो ही नहीं रहे हैं. But the person didn't believe. People of our generation, they always verify not from 1%, 2%, but many times, and then they arrive at a conclusion. That person kept on asking from one source or the another. So he came to know that the interviews are going to be held. And he appeared in the interview. He was selected, but the other person, he gave him a disinformation. Or even I would not mind to say that it was a malinformation, because the information was true, but he did try to hide and harm the person. So this kind of tricks do play in our everyday life also. Currency. This is regarding up-to-date name. Data about, in case of misinformation, the source, time and place, is origin are incomplete, either incomplete or out of date. And data about disinformation, source, time, place is created. So this is a created data. This is not original. So its origin may not be known to exist or say availability of this. The coverage. Contact address, links for finding the information may be available, but may be broken or incomplete. In case of disinformation, information is provided as per intensity of the information. Serious information, that will be intense information. Future interaction on the web or sources is doubtful or ambiguous. Fake news, this is a wider umbrella. This is a very wide umbrella. It is taken care of. Now we will take other types of information in a generic way under the fake news. Fake news this has also been called orange or yellow journalism. This is a term basically used for news items, articles consisting of deliberate disinformation spread via news media, maybe print, electronic, social media like WhatsApp, Facebook, or YouTube, etc. It is also known as junk news, pseudo news, hoax news. For such news, our cognitive bias makes us to believe these news. In fact, cognitive bias, I would like to explain a little bit. We may believe on a particular, ideology or a particular religion or a particular school of thought. So once we belong to that particular school of thought, whatever news or information comes about that, it makes us little biased to believe that. For example, say Delhi University, I am a product of Delhi University. I have been, whatever information I'll get about Delhi University, my first reaction will be, say, to believe it. Although I would like to test it, but whatever information is being received, I'll find this must be a correct information because this is Delhi University. Because I have a cognitive bias towards that. It is based on information clearly. Yeah, this is an important thing. When fake news is created, the promoter of that fake news knows it that he is creating a fake news. But he wants to change the people's perception about factual events. The basic purpose in some such news is that they want to do marketing. Every day when we open news channel, we find breaking news. This is the channel which is giving this news for the first time. And almost every channel is having their system of checking the fake news also. So the promoter knows that he is disseminating a wrong information, fake news. But they want to earn money because fake news spreads much faster, much wider, much easily to a greater number of users. It is often uses sensational, catchy headlines, dishonest and falsified headings to increase newspaper rating or readership. It is published to mislead the public or damage an agency or person for financial or political gains. Basically, the gain is either it may be financial or political gain. Online mode and ICT developments have increased the publication and usage of fake news. There is no doubt about it. They are the most wonderful vehicle for spreading some such news. Anyone can start a blog or website and claim to be a journalist. That is another beauty of this web environment. Most fake news comes from blogs and websites. Fake news sometimes get more views than real news because they are more catchy, they are more fascinating. And trolling of news on social media doesn't make it trusted. Nowadays, so many Twitter followers for person A, person B, person C, but that doesn't mean that those are all trusted. False political news flashes faster, farther, and deeper to the larger population. Since these are fabricated, their source can't be traced or found anywhere. Website developers of fake news, they design the websites very smartly to look like original. Now see the example, abcnews.com. This is a authentic website. And abcnews.com.co. Co is added here, it is not. But at a single glance, we will feel that these are the same. They look similar. So the professional developer of website, they create fake sites in such a way that they look like correct one, genuine one. I just pick up two examples of fake news. On 20th April 2020, President Donald Trump questioned exposing patient of bodies to ultraviolet light or injecting bleach could help the treat coronavirus. This was a great news of that, period, April period. He was speculating and took fact out of context. There was nothing like that, but he just floated. Some politicians said a feature of the Indian cow is that its milk contains gold. And that's the reason the color of the milk is yellowish. That is another. I mean, some people may believe, those who can believe. I can say some category of people can believe some such news also. But there is no logic in this. Now, let us see what are the sources of fake news. Fake news can be, say, these are the sources of the popular sources, newspaper, particularly local newspapers. I remember, I attended an international conference. Some journalist came to me because I was lit in a highlight in that conference. He came to me and he wanted to take my interview. He took my interview just for 2-3 minutes, but when it appeared in the local newspaper, it was much more covered. What he has written so many things from his own side. So newspapers and particularly the local newspaper, they give fake news. Radio, TV, internet, digital media, social media, websites, and person to person by word of mouth. These are the fake news sites. These are the sites which can help to find out whether the news is correct or not. And almost every renowned newspaper, they are having this kind of, they have developed their site to find out. And रोज हम न्यूज़ उसमें टीवी के चैनल पे देखते हैं आज का वायरल सच. And as you will find that on my next PPTs, I have tried to catch up that also. So these are the first one is it's an international fact checking network. The site is an international site. Another is from NDTV. And then you will see NDTV social media fake news that is covering. Then News 18, they are also having Times Now, Times of India, Z News, India TV News. See, all are having some such site to verify the information for dissemination. Now, this is a very controversial question I have just taken up here, assuming probably can we really stop fake news? It's very, very difficult. I don't think we can have any check or balance on fake news, but still, I did try to say something here. It can be done if authors, publishers, readers, and the government decide to publish only authentic information. But it is really very difficult because money minting is the basic purpose of all the organization. And that becomes a hurdle if we become very strict on anything. Organization, this is another way, organization must stop giving ads to such sites. They must fix strict punishment, deny hosting ads, block internet traffic. Fake news site must be identified, publicized, and denounced publicly on wider forum, not to believe, not to go for that kind of sites. Restrict public platform of fake news like Facebook, Google, Twitter, WhatsApp. Stop forwarding and circulation of all the messages. It is not necessary whatever message you receive is true. Ban private platform of fake news like Viber, WebChat, Snapchat, Telegram, etc. Now the question comes how to check fake news. IFLA has given a beautiful guideline for that, and it says consider the source. What source? For example, Encyclopedia Britannica, New Encyclopedia Britannica, which is no more in publication now, but that was the most authoritative, authentic source of the centuries, I must say. And Wiki, you cannot believe. Second thing is that check the author. Who is the author? You know about the renowned personalities who have credentials in the academic world. They can be believed. Check the date when the information has been posted. Read beyond. Read beyond means don't go by catchy headlines only, because they have been created for marketing or for increasing the rating of a particular news. Go inside the details, try to read more and more, and then decide about. Supporting sources. Does it give some supporting sources? Yes. If it gives, then click onto the link and try to find out if they really support the story being reported. Ask the expert. Expert help can also be taken. When there is any doubt, ask a librarian. Librarian, because they are surrounded with the collection, they know what to dig out from where, and they are being trained in this trade only, that how to find out the best information, the correct information. A fact-checking site can also be used, like politicfact.com or factcheck.org. Statista is a good Indian statistical source for checking such information. This is the diagram which I have picked up from IFLA. Consider the source. They had given the same thing here. Check the author, check the date, check your bias, read beyond, supporting sources. Is it a joke? Sometimes pranks are being disseminated. Ask the expert. These are some slides which this is the main slide which says kuch viral ho jaye. What they do, they aaj ka viral. They try to find out if the given news is factual around, and they take a lot of time for disseminating one particular news when they give this kind of information. So because they fact check about the reliability and validity and authenticity of that particular information. Say this is say DB Live. This is again giving fake news. Z News, the DNA, viral. कुछ वायरल हर वीडियो कुछ कहता है आज रात के पूरे भारत में शराब बंद होगी. These are all fake news. This is a very beautiful slide. Biggest fake junk news of the year. These are, I think, for 2019. And it is more colorful. And the beauty of this slide is that different colors have been used for different personalities. For example, yellow color has been used for Trump. Whatever information is related with the Trump, it's given here. Like President Donald Trump donates his entire so many pound salary to rebuild military cemeteries. He has not donated at all. It was a fake news. Trump wins Nobel Peace Prize. No, he didn't. Similarly, say Clinton is also here. Obama is green. Michelle Obama never placed her hand over her heart during the national anthem. There was a news that she placed her hand on her heart during the national anthem, but it was not so. Is Article 54 of Obama taking effect in May 2018? That was another fake news. Malia Obama busted while streaking at Harvard. This is again a fake news. This color has been used for liberals, this brown color. So I like this PPT, so I thought let me pick it up and show it to you. Different color schemes have been used to give the opinion about to give the fake news by different personalities. This is another, say 2009. This is 2019, yes. The year of fake news. The year of fake news, Economic Times. This is a new PPT from Economic Times where important fake news were covered under that. And there is a quote by Ratan Tata. In fact, Ratan Tata was misquoted by WhatsApp. It says 2020 is the year to survive, not make profits. WhatsApp forwarded a fake news. They say this WhatsApp forwarded a fake news that in different light. Then Ratan Tata clarified his point of view. He said that 2020 is the year to survive, not make profits. His economy was going down, so somebody in the name of Ratan Tata criticized the 2020. But he said human life is very important. So it is more important to survive, to sustain in this, unhealthy environment, not to make profit. Survival is more important than making profit. So he clarified. So this is how fake news, this is fake news generators. These are the fake news generators, the fake news by TV, fake news generator. And this is Boris and say Trump, they are also spreading some fake news during their discussion. This is a political group. Gossip, sitting somewhere, making gossips, and then spreading the news. they are also very rich source of. This is another breaking news. Tulsi पीने से नहीं होगा कोरोना का असर. Somebody, nowadays, everybody says, you take this thing, you take that thing. This is very important. My neighborhood has told me, neighbor person has told me, and they are really got out of this corona. They just spread from one person to another. पीने से नहीं होगा कोरोना का असर. Noni juice, I don't know what is noni. Noni juice पीने से नहीं होगा कोरोना का असर. So they are all false news. They are all 15 जून से के बाद फिर से हो सकता है संपूर्ण लॉकडाउन. गृह मंत्रालय ने दिए संकेत. ट्रेन और हवाई सफर पे लगेगा ब्रेक. This was a fake news, but it spreads like a fire. Nirav Modi arrested in Hong Kong. It was not, but it was said that some channel gave this news that, but Times Now Live has checked through their fact check website, and they say, no, this is not a correct news. I just want to talk about media literacy because, information literacy, we are well aware. Media literacy, I feel this is taking wider scope under its umbrella. And it is a practical ability to access, think, analyze, and evaluate critically the authenticity of information one receives, reads, and uses. This is a skill which makes us to learn how to evaluate and decide about the authenticity of a source. It enables to check, evaluate, and verify the information available. This is important here in the form of text, not only text, video, and images. Google Images provides, digital tool helps you to provide even when the image given is real or not. And sometimes, पिछले दिनों में बहुत सारा fake news वो रेड़े के ऊपर fruits लेके बेच रहा है, and some particular man of a community was denounced that he's वो sputum उस पे लगा रहा है, उसको कोरोना फैलाने की वजह से फैला रहा है. That was old say video which was spreaded like a fire, and every channel was showing that. So this can be media literacy can provide us an idea how to check the test, videos and images. Sound, of course, cannot be checked by media literacy. For that, we need to go to say forensic lab. But images, of course, video, of course, we can say. Google Images helps you to find out. You just upload a image on Google Images, and you can get to know that the image, similar types of images are displayed over there, and you can find out your image is factual one or fake one. It intends to provide awareness of media influence and creates an awareness about creation and consumption of news. It enables to distinguish fact from opinion. Fact is a fact, opinion may be, opinion may be for towards the fact or against the fact, and how media can be used to convince people. In IT environment, with the use of digital tools, media literacy plays an important role to critically analyze a variety of false information, false videos, false images. I initially said that these things may be of some importance, what I am discussing today for the library professional. So they are having very responsible role for dissemination of information. They owe a social responsibility, and they must be aware of these types of information. They must know well about misleading variety of terms used for information and how to analyze and handle them. It is also very important to learn how to react when a patron comes to the library to substantiate a fake news. A person, a reader, a user may come to the library that I got this news from somewhere, I want to verify. So that is that a factual or fake news, and the library should be able to. Acquisition of proper training in media literacy would be helpful to identify fallacies, intentional manipulations in reasoning being dressed up with rational argument, because media literacy will train the professionals to do all these things. So they will be strong enough in arguing that this is a right information, this is a wrong information. So media literacy would be very helpful for that. This is another thing we should try. Faculty and librarians, they have an important role. They must educate and train the students and users to be cautious enough to use only ethical and correct information. Media literacy program must be part of LI's curriculum. This is my strong suggestion that LI's curriculum, because of the flood of these kind of sources available in the information market, we should be able to differentiate between the variety or types of information being provided by such some different sources, and we should be able to distinguish between the right information and a wrong information. So media literacy program must be the part of LIS curriculum. Many universities, I believe they have started, but not most of the universities, but it should be, because it will bring awareness to enable them, students, to identify and handle such problems. Tools and sources must be explored. So there can be some research programs, there can be some research topics where tools and sources must be explored and taught for detecting unethical information. Webinars and seminars must be regularly organized for some such purposes. Every now and then new things come up. So our students or our librarians, they should be aware. They are much more aware. I know about it. Learning these ethics is essential for all the information providers. Now I am coming at the end of my slide. Social media such as WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, etc. are the chain disseminator of all such information. So we must be careful in using them. Social group, as a responsible member, we must not circulate rumor or any such message without verification. Every day we are getting hundreds of messages. Some may be actual also, factual also, but many may be fake. So we should be very careful in forwarding. Habitually, we immediately forward the message to any other. So we should verify whether they are factual, but further forwarding or not, we should see to that. To maintain social harmony, we should be very careful. Nowadays, particularly, little thing, controversial thing creates a havoc. Controversial posts relating to caste, creed, culture, and religion must not be disseminated. We should be very, very particular not to disseminate any controversial post. Forwarded message must be read carefully before we forward there. Many times, we receive a message, forward this message to 19 more people, you are likely to be rewarded by the God with so and so thing, and if you do not do, you are going to earn a curse. Don't believe for God's sake on some such things. Be logical, be a responsible person, because another person then we forward to another 19. So little attention can save us from various such problems. With this, I would like to convey my very, very sincere thanks to all the participants, audience, for giving me patient hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, Professor Singh, for clarifying the concept of misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, and fake news. I do agree with you that before using any information, we must identify the category of information and must be aware of the fake news, which we should not agree to. Now, with these words, I request Neha to take the questions, please.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am, once again.
Good morning, Neha. Thank you.
I will start with the comments and then we can move forward. There is firstly, everyone is really appreciating because you have tried to clear up all the doubts that could come up in our minds. Then I will further tell you about a comment from one of the participants. I humbly disagree with the definition of misinformation and the example of child and mother suffering from some disease. The definition of misinformation is actually based on the word inadvertently, means no intention or accidentally. Example of girl misleading mother with some information to comfort her is to inadvertently to mislead the person, so falls under disinformation. He's saying that whatever we were talking about misinformation should come under disinformation instead. To make it more clear, disinformation includes all forms of false, inaccurate, or misleading information designed or promoted to intentionally cause harm or profit.
Okay. In fact, in case of, if I go on my slide, I told initially that misinformation Other one that is unintentional, and there is the purpose behind that is not to harm anybody, not to harm anybody. So
Okay.
what information has been given by the daughter to the mother, it was to support her, not to harm. But in case of disinformation, the purpose is to harm. The basic purpose is to harm. There is no, say, welfare program at all. The person who is giving that information is deliberately, intentionally creating the information to harm the other person. Where this girl was not to harm her mother, he wanted to support her mother. So that is the basic difference. It won't come under disinformation because the intention is not to harm, intention is to support the mother.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. He has further comment about fake news. He says that the issue so far is that there is no definition of fake news. All information is contextual. True and not true are like beauty. It is basically our perception. No beauty can find beauty, since anything can be true to a person, which instead should look at the provenance of things. We should park our emotions and think critically. There is no remedy so far to information disorders. Truth is always worth fighting for, but to get the heart of the truth, we must examine the nature of the lie.
Definitely. The question is Sunday is longer than Monday. You know, that it depends upon perception, but fake news has its own role to play. They have different role to play. So one should check some such information before believing into that. It's very important because same information I can pass on to some other person also. So I should be very sure. And that's why, there was a PPT which was giving this fact checking sites of almost all the news channels, because they also want to create that kind of impression that we are checking, we are giving the news, most authentic news, and we are checking it. So checking the information is very important before that is disseminated.
All right. Now, there's another question from Mr. I don't know, Jeevan K. Christie. If a person is passing outdated information, is it a part of any of these information?
Outdated information, it depends upon the relevancy of the information. Number two, if he is a librarian, he should not pass. If it is an ordinary person, he can pass because he is not liable to giving the correct information or recent information. Outdated information, if it is, for example, date of birth of Mahatma Gandhi, one can say this is a outdated information, everybody knows about it. So outdated information, if it depends upon what is the relevance, what is the utility of that information. If we are talking of something very old in nowadays context, that will be outdated, that won't be useful. So it depends upon the purpose for which somebody is trying to find out the information. And if he's a librarian, he should give both type of, he should give, he should talk about outdated information also if it is relevant. Otherwise, he should give the current information.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Another question is, what is the difference between pseudo news and hoax news?
Pseudo news and Fox News, they are both same. Both same. Pseudo news is a fake news. Fox News is a again a fake news.
One of the students is asking, is there any punishment for spreading fake news?
Not yet, but it depends. If somebody does in case of assignment, somebody gives a fake assignment, punishment can be there. But if it is national level, that's why I have suggested there should be some authority who can take care of. So far, there is nothing like that.
Okay, and Ashima is asking, she wants to ask, how can we know that the news provided by news channels are fake? Because most of the people rely on news channel for news.
You must go by the authority. That's why I told right in the very beginning, why do you believe the important authorities, academicians, that they right, always right? So news channel also, for example, Times Now. Times Now is one of the very well accepted, renowned channel. They don't give a fake news. But if you go to local channel, they can. So you must see which channel you are using, what channel you are using, and you can know by say viewing the news for 3-4 times, you can come across whether what they are giving the factual news or not. So it depends upon the channel. reputation of the channel, standing of the channel. If it is a national channel, there will be difference in national and local channel. National will be more dependable than, I think so, than the local channel. Local may also be equally good, but sometimes.
Thank you, ma'am. And now I'll read a couple of comments. Knowledgeable session in current situation. There are many fake news. It was said by Dr. Ajay Kumar Prajapati. There is another of our alumni, Meeza Singh ma'am. She has also that just excellent presentation by SP Singh ma'am. Very informative with relevant examples and current ones. Thank you so much for providing it, and thanks to the organizers and Professor Singh. Other than that, there are lots of informative sessions and so on and so forth. I couldn't find any other questions. Hope
Okay.
every question was taken up and I did not miss any of them. Now I would request Dr. Shiv to give his vote of thanks. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Neha.
Thank you, ma'am.
And all the question bank colleagues, professionals of mine, I would like to say thank you to them also.
Thank you, Neha. I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. It is a privilege for me to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On the behalf of Department of Library and Information Science, I extend my sincere gratitude to Professor S. Singh accepting our invitation to deliver a talk. And your talk was very informative. Your thought out topic is very much relevant in current scenario and very important for everyone. This you can say very helpful, very beneficial. Academicians, librarians, public, everyone. You have highlighted all aspects very beautifully in plain words. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, thanks to Punjab University Authority, especially Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Rajkumar, for allowing us to organize this webinar series. I also thank all participants for being with us. My thanks also go to faculty, research scholars, students of the department for their unending support. Thank you all again. We will be meeting in next webinar on 6th August, 11 a.m.
Thank you, Shiv. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
God bless you.
Thank you, Professor S.P. Singh, and thank you all the dear participants for joining us today. We'll be meeting tomorrow, and just for your information, tomorrow is the last webinar of this month. We are planning to hold about 2 to 3 webinars every month. So tomorrow will be the third one in this month. So we'll meet at 11 sharp tomorrow again. Thank you, and bye-bye, everyone.
I would also like to thank all the participants. Thank you. I enjoyed the session.